Hello everyone, welcome back to the weapon comparison series for Insurgency Sandstorm. I am Mr. Rain, and before we get into this video, I just want to say for those of you who have been following this series on YouTube itself, I do want to let you know that I have made a guide on the Steam guides for this game. The link for that will be in the description below, and that's where I will be updating any changes or nuances and just giving a little more information of each weapon. Also, if you don't really care to watch videos and you just want to read that article, then by all means. So with that being said, let's go ahead and finish this second part of my Sidearms series. So this being part 2, we are going to be looking at the security forces sidearms or secondaries. And it starts off with the Tariq, which is a standard 9mm sidearm. It starts with has a mag capacity of 8, and with an extended magazine, it goes up to 12. The next gun that they have is the M45, which is their hand cannon using the 45 ACP. A lot of damage, but a lot of recoil as well. That has a standard capacity of 7. Then you have the L106A1, and that's another typical 9mm, but it starts off with a mag capacity of 15 and an extended mag of 20. And then you have the newest pistol right now, which is the PF940, which is more or less a Glock. Well, again, 9mm, mag capacity of 17, and then extended mag capacity of 31. So before we get to this guy though, we gotta go back to the Tariq. And although I did cover this, I do want to cover it again for the sake of this video. In most of these tests, or in all of these tests, I'm going to include the extended mag just to get a few extra shots out there. So, starting off with the Tariq, again, standard 9mm, vertical of 28, horizontal of 26, velocity of 360 meters per second, and that's about it for what we need to see here. Again, the base mag capacity is 8 rounds per mag, and with extended, it goes up to 12. And like always, I'm going to start off with a simple mag dumping. So, 3, 2, 1. I mean, the spread's pretty wide, but also it will do. Like, this is my problem with having to try out pistols like this, is that it's going to scatter a bit, but at the end of the day, it's still a nice cluster. And most of the times, if you're shooting at that range, you're in big trouble. Like, you typically don't want to be this far out shooting a target with a pistol unless you really have to. So any way to close the gap in with any of these sidearms are going to give you the best results. But I'm still going to use this as a baseline because it gives us that spread. So you can see more or less how effective it is at a relatively decent, not quite close, but not quite medium range. So with that said, let's go ahead and look at the next weapon. Alright, and just like we did for Insurgent side, we are skipping the M45 for now because that is the hand cannon. But we're going to go ahead and equip the L106A1, which is another 9mm, a vertical of 27 and a horizontal of 26. Comparing that to the Tariq, it has slightly less vertical, but the same amount of horizontal, shoots at a higher velocity, at a far higher velocity, 450 meters per second, and it has a mag capacity of 15 with the extended mag capacity of 20. Let's go ahead. Alright, so let's go ahead and dump 20 rounds. 3, 2, 1. I got a bit of a better cluster there, especially with more rounds. Makes it easier. The gun likes to jump up. Like, the first 3 shots, I had a little bit of a pause, and that was because the gun was starting to hit a lot higher. So I kind of reset and I compensated for that with the last few shots that I made, or with the rest of the magazine. So that's what you can kind of expect. A bit more decent than this little scatter shot. But over time, just with training and practice, you're this for the Tarek is going to be just like that. So don't take this too much as a one-to-one, but just more as a, this is what you can kind of expect, and it's a little easier to control because again you got more ammo, you have more rounds per mag, so you can have more time and more shots to compensate. And this is more of a panic fire type of ordeal when you have 8 to 12 rounds to work with. So let's go ahead and look at the next pistol. So the next one we're going to look at is the M45, and the M45 uses the 45 ACP, a vertical of 38 and horizontal 42, so once again the highest recoil you're going to have in these sidearms, a very low velocity of 253, and a mag capacity of 7 with an extended mag capacity of 10. Let's go ahead and load it up. So we're going to go ahead and run 10 rounds in, and this is going to be a bit difficult. Let's try it. 3, 2, 1. Yeah. So essentially what happened was that the first few shots started to climb up. I think that was my second or third shot up there. And then as I began to compensate for the vertical recoil, the horizontal began to kick in. So it's a very strange thing where it's like, apparently it's vertical first and then horizontal towards your second half of the magazine. So all in all, it's not too bad, especially shooting 45. But any day of the week, I would prefer having something more along the lines of the L10. This is more of like a close range hand cannon or a single shot hand cannon from a distance. So if you do want to spam fire this gun, it definitely will have to be at a close range, because otherwise this spread here just may not work out. So now let's go ahead and look at our final sidearm. So the last sidearm that we're going to be looking at today is the PF940, which is another 9mm pistol. A vertical of 26, horizontal of 27, a velocity of 450, and a mag capacity of 17 with an extended mag capacity of 31. And then looking at this, it does have slightly more vertical recoil than the Tariq, but also less horizontal recoil as well. The L106, it pretty much follows the same suit. The 940, let me make sure. 940 will have less vertical recoil than the 106A1. And let me see, yeah, and more horizontal recoil than the 106A1. So go figure. Just very subtle changes, and especially with it being semi-auto, it doesn't mean a whole lot, again, unless you're trying to mag dump. So let's go ahead and load this up. Alright, so here we go. 3, 2, 1. Do I have any more? No? Okay. So I did not hit the pole. Oh, I did hit the pole once. Great. Cool. Cool. Alright, I only hit the pole once. Only hit it once, right up there. But aside from that, this is brilliant. This is a little too much. So if we were to compare them, that's the L106A1 and that's the 940. They both shoot 9mm, and at best the 106 has 20 rounds, and at best the 940 has 31. And so even though there are more rounds going through with the 940, you can still see that the spread is a lot more condensed than in the 940 than it is on the 106. So that's something that you would want to consider if you want to have a 17 round 9mm that will do the job. I would definitely recommend the Glock over the 106. And the Tariq is definitely outclassed by pretty much the rest of these pistols. But essentially the idea of the Tariq is just that it's a sidearm. You're just getting it for the sake of taking it, and you're not really going to use it a whole lot. And you're not really concerned about using your secondary pretty much at all. So that's what the Tariq is there for. The 106 is more of your in-betweener, where you can use it if you want something that will give you slightly more ammo, and then you can upgrade it with the extended mag, and it will give you a decent performance. The M45, as always, is just a hand cannon, and that's more of if you're going to take your time and taking one shot at a time, or if you want to just get up close and personal and shoot them with a 45 ACP. So, and then of course the 940 is just the all-out, I'm going to use 9mm no matter what, and it's essentially just a far more reliable pistol in regards to performance and in regards to the mag capacity. So those are the pistols and the sidearms that the security forces have right now. And just like I did with Insurgent side, I'm going to go ahead and rate these 4 pistols against each other. So the M45, again, is just a class on its own. There's no other sidearm that works like it. There's no secondary that has a higher caliber than a 9mm. It's either a 9mm or a 45. So there's not really an in-betweener or something that's even stronger. So that all alone just sits on its own category. In regards to the 9mm, the 940 definitely takes it. Again, just a better mag capacity at base and a far more easier recoil to control. The 106A1 takes second place, with it being again a bit of an in-betweener, where if you don't want to spend a whole lot of supply points but you do want a little more than 12 shots, that's what the 106 will do for you, and it will give you a slightly better recoil than the Tarek. And the Tarek again is just more of your, I'm taking this because I guess I'm going to kind of sidearm. It doesn't really have any bells or whistles to it, and it's also the cheapest of the bunch for security side, that is, with 1 supply point. So that is it for the sidearm series, at least until they bring in another set of sidearms, which we'll be looking at. And so moving forward, we'll be looking forward to making more videos on this series. If you found this video informative and enjoyable, please consider giving the video a like. And if you wish to see more of this, please consider subscribing. Next week, I will be looking as a request between the MK18 and the MP7, I believe. So it'll be a bit of a weird one because the MP7 is an SMG and the MK18 is a rifle. So we'll see just how well they'll stack against each other and what the differences are. So I am Mr. Rain, thank you for watching, and until next time, I'll see you guys later.